All right, now we have finished this speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, which talks about the 25th day of Adar, which that's going to be tomorrow, which according to Rebbe Yeshua was the day that God began to create the world in thought. And also Parshat HaChodesh, which means we always have to make things new, and especially the day we're born to celebrate a birthday, and really essentially every moment is a birthday. And this is going to be the future revelation where it says, the ultimate revelation where it says, I'm skipping a little part. Why? Because when the Rebbe said this was in 1989, and it ended up that the Hebrew calendar was not exactly, I'm sorry, the reading of the Rambam. We finish the Rambam once a year, but it takes a little bit more than a year. I think I'm a little bit more than a year, right? To do anyway. We don't finish it on the same date every year.
It's a little less than a year usually.
A little less than a year. So
for 3 prakim.
Right. So we don't finish it on the same date, and this eventually builds up. So when the Rebbe was this year, the Rebbe was speaking this in 1989. They were learning the laws of sacrifices, and we're not. We're just beginning brand new. The Rambam over here. So I skipped that part about the sacrifices because we're going to have to go back and explain. Okay, so the Rebbe is talking about it, that in the sacrifices he mentioned, that in the sacrifices mentioned that you have to turn from bad and do good, etc. Until the tachlis, the ultimate completion of the day will be all the time day. That's going to be in the future. It says the light of the moon will be the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be 70 times, or whatever, Shiva Tayim, it says, like the light of the 7 days of creation when God created the world. What does it mean? Yamshich, that will be revealed also below. This is a little bit bigger. That will be revealed in this physical world until we won't need the physical sun anymore, and because God will be a light for the world in a way that's constant and perpetual. And when God created the world, there was day and night for 3 days, and he only created the sun and the moon on the 4th day, because the sun and the moon was to show when it's day and when it's night. Ideally, the sun and the moon did not determine when day and night is. Day and night was determined beforehand. That's spiritual. Day is when God is revealed. Night is when God is not revealed. We don't even know what that means. What does it mean to reveal God, not reveal God? God is so concealed that we figure that's it. That's what reality is, but it's not. So in the future, there definitely will be a sun and there will be a moon, but that will not be the source of light. Okay, what are we going to learn from all this before? That we said before, especially in regard to actual deed. But now we are on the 25th day of Adar, which that's going to be tomorrow by us. By the Rebbe, it was on Shabbos. Hamakar, then that's the beginning, the source of God's deed. How it rose up in God's thought to create the world. The first thought that God had to create the world, that was on the 25th day of Adar. We talked about that before. God didn't create the world, so there was no time. Okay. The idea of time exists, like we say, day and night existed before the sun and the moon. So time and months, etc., existed in God's plan before created the world. So the 25th day of Adar in God's thought, that was when it rose up in God's thought to create the world, especially and mainly what it means to create the world is creating man, and especially not just man in general, but the Jewish people, that they are especially man, because the fate of the world is in the hands of the Jews to wake up all mankind to reveal how much God loves them. And now we're also on Shabbat Parshas HaChodesh, means that everything should be new, and we didn't talk about this. And also Bayom Shmini. Shmini is the 8th day of the inauguration, the day that the first the tabernacle was open for business in the desert, right? Desert. That was the first day of Nisan. Same thing like this year, Chodesh Parshas Chodesh. So there has to be Chirush, is telling that all these things are talking about being new. Kafei Adar, that's when the world was first arose in God's mind to create it. And Shmini is when the tabernacle was the first day it was open. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is the first month of the Jewish year. It shows us that we always have to feel that we're in the beginning. Excuse me. Everything is brand new. And everything that we do in every way of serving the Creator, whether we're talking about serving the Creator in godly things, right? Prayer and charity, or whether we're talking about serving the Creator in regular things, right? Eating your meals, being with your family, in your business, whether in regular mundane things or holy things, it's same as serving the Creator. The whole world is created only for us to improve it. Everything, especially the Jewish people doing the Torah and the commandments. We're the example to the whole world. And so every day and every moment has to be be'en aroch, incomparable to how you served God previously. Kolel, including also the Gabi Achirush, the novelty of the 25th day of Adar. And the Parshat HaChodesh, what we're going to read on Shabbat, this one paragraph from the book of Exodus, which talks about how God gave the counting of the months to the Jewish people. HaChodesh is Elechem, the counting of the months and the renewal. And in the Chodesh means to renew. And in other words, elevation after elevation, without limit. Shalamayla mibli gavul, which is above even being unlimited. And even more, not just adding on to things in a quantity which is unlimited, but also the same thing, but in a way of mitziut chadasha, to do new things. Dugmas like being born. Excuse me. In other words, doing things totally different. You're an honest person. You live, instead of just being honest, go out and give charity to other people. Be charitable. And instead of just being charitable to other people, convince other people to be charitable. Instead of just being charitable and teaching other people to be charitable, go and learn more and teach more. And maybe you can find new ways to gather children from the streets and teach them Torah, teach them what it means to be a human being. Everybody has something new that to present to the world that nobody else has. Sometimes one smile, one good word can do more than all of the books and all of the philosophies in the world. Viktor Frankl writes that sometimes the janitor in the hospital, he was the head of a big hospital. The janitor in the hospital could do more than the brain surgeons. And the surgeons, they go and they save people's lives and they do wonderful things, but they're very, mechanical, and they're very, practical. They're running around. They don't have time to say a good word to somebody. And the person who's the janitor, he can, how are you feeling today, Mr. Smith? How are you doing? What a beautiful family you got. I saw they kind of visit you. If you smile, the world smiles at you. He says one good word, he makes the world worthwhile. Right? The doctor saves the person's life, but they got no reason to continue living. Right? They saves the person's body, but he doesn't save the person's soul, doesn't inspire the person to be happy. So sometimes just doing one good thing, one good word, can save a whole world. And that person does a good deed for somebody else. The novelty is, the point the Rebbe wants to say is always be new. Always be open. Be open to do good things, to say good things. Even more, sometimes just listening to someone can do more than anything else. Just listening to somebody. Just listen, a person tells his troubles, you listen, this is just, I understand. Listen, just a person, people have no one to talk to. Sometimes just by listening to a person, you do a person a bigger favor than anything else. It's good, there's some people that can talk without any end, that they're just, how do you say, can drive you crazy. But nevertheless, to be open to people, you have to use your judgment. But nevertheless, to be constantly renewal and not to be satisfied with yourself the way you are or the world the way it is. You have to be happy with what you are and have to be happy in the world, but never satisfied. You can always increase. The Chiddush said this novelty has to be in a way, natal asar toros, that it takes 10 crowns. It says the first day when it was open, the temple, the tabernacle was open for business. So it said that day there was 10 crowns. What 10 crowns? 10 amazing things that happened that never happened before. The Shekhinah came down to the Jewish people. The Kohanim started to work. The altar was working. That was the first day that it was working. The tribes started to bring their sacrifices. Here, I have a whole list of things here. Want to hear? One second. Ready? Listen to this. It was the first day. 1 minute. It's interesting. Here we go. This is a book, by the way, which is called what is it? Shaila Mora. It's a chumash, but it has Shaila Mora. It says a commentary of Shaila Mora. Very, very excellent. Very excellent. So it says here's the 10 things. Ready? First of all, the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah. Here it is. First of all, it's the first. It was the tabernacle was open. When did it open? On Sunday, the first day of creation, Yom Rishon. It was the first day that the tribes brought their offerings. The first day that the Shekhinah was present. Okay. The first day that it was forbidden to make sacrifices in your backyard, an abama. The first day that the Kohanim started to work. The first day of the blessing. It says the Kohanim blessed, first time. The first day that they started to work in the Holy Temple. The first day it's the beginning of the months, the first day of Nisan. And it's the first day that the Kohanim ate holy things. And the first day that fire came down in the temple. 10 things. I know. Namely, why 10? Because it permeated all the 10 powers of the soul, and also how they are in a way of makif, surrounding their terraces as crowns. Even the highest levels of the soul, the crown of the soul, was revealed in 10 different ways until that each and every Jew merited that he was crowned with all of these crowns. The Torah, something like it says in Megillat Esther, and Mordechai went out in front of the king, the levush techilet machurva ateret zahav gedola, and a crown. It says ateret zahav, a golden crown. The tachrich butz vargaman, he went out with a crown. So every Jew received this crown. In other words, this awareness of the Creator that is being created and the purpose why we're being created, and an inspiration to be new constantly. But Ode, and this we have to incorporate now. That's the lesson we can learn from this week, and Ode even more. And the main thing is, Shekol Yisrael, that all of the Jewish people merited to be a crown for the Moshiach, Malka Mashiach. In a way that Melech b'yafio techazen enecha, a king in his beauty, your eyes will see. So that's the idea of the Melech HaMashiach is going to bring all the Jews back to Torah and mitzvahs. He's going to bring he's going to defeat all the enemies of Judaism. All the enemies of Judaism will be defeated, right? All of the Hamas and the pro-Palestinians and the missionaries and the what is it, the atheists and all these people, they'll all come to their senses. And then he'll bring the holy temple down from heaven. And then all the Jews will come to the land of Israel. That's King Moshiach is going to do. And in more detail, they'll call the Rosh, first of all, Be'inyan, Shezman, Groma, a thing that is caused by time, relevant to the time, which is relevant to now, Benogea Lahachanos, the preparations for the holiday of Passover. It says that 30 days before the holiday, you're supposed to learn the laws of the holiday. So preparation for Passover, you have to learn the laws of the holiday. And you have to ma'ot chitin, you have to find out who is poor, that doesn't have the money to buy all the necessities of the holiday, and give that person money. And also chalukat matzah, giving out matzah, kosher matzah, matzah shmora. That all the people, that even though that all the Jewish people are considered to be, you have to suppose that they are keeping kosher and that there was, but nevertheless, certainly, shloshim yom ifnei chag, you have to prepare 30 days before the holiday and make sure that everybody has kosher matzahs and that they have enough money for the holiday, and etc. From Purim onward, we have to add on all of these things with more and more alacrity and interest and enthusiasm in a way of chidush that it becomes brand new, whether regarding yourself, whether regarding working with others. Like it says, you have to love people like you love yourself. Often in a way of patach tiftach, you have to open up, natan titen, you have to open up your hand and open it up again to give to the poor, even 100 times. Alder says similarly regarding to adding on and everything in Torah and the commandments in a way of now that has to be renewal. Kolel, especially in learning Torah, you have to add on. You don't learn Chumash, learn Chumash. You should, first of all, everyone listening to these classes and should tell their friends that they should learn the three things which the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that every Jew should learn every day. The portion of the Chumash every day, it's divided up, each Torah weekly portion is divided up into 7 sections. Read one of those sections with Rashi. You don't understand Rashi, they have it in English. You don't understand the English, learn a little bit, go and ask somebody. Chumash, Tehillim, you should say the portion of the Psalms every day. The Psalms are divided into 150 Psalms. They're divided up into 30 portions. Say one every day. Say it in English. You can't say it in Hebrew, but it's better to say it in Hebrew. And finally, Tanya, the book of Tanya is divided up into 365 days. Each day you can say one day. You can see where it's divided up. You don't understand Hebrew, read it in English. You don't understand the English, go and ask in your Chabad house what it means. And that's the basic it should be. But also add on a little bit more, a little bit deeper. Sheyesh chiyuv, there's an obligation on every single Jew to learn Torah and also to try to ask questions in Torah and to try to find unique answers in the Torah. Not all, you can make up any answers you want to, but go and ask somebody if it's a good answer, if it's or not. It's no sin to make a mistake. The Khan here is a place to arouse another time that you have to add on in learning Rambam. The Rebbe started this thing about learning the Maimonides. Now, Maimonides wrote a book which is called the Yad HaChazakah. Yad is 14, Yud Dalet, because there's 14 books. And they cover all of the laws of Judaism. And it's true, there's sometimes where there's great rabbis that are to the level of the Rambam that they disagree and that there's arguments, but nevertheless, all of the laws of Judaism are there. And if you do everything exactly the way the Rambam says, as even though there's people that disagree with some laws, they don't say that if you do it this way that you're a sinner. God wanted there should be different opinions in Judaism, but according to Judaism, it has to be Judaism. But learning the Rambam lets you know about these different laws, and it talks about the laws of the sacrifices and details and etc. And learn the laws of the Rambam. And especially now, this says that when the Rebbe was speaking, this is the laws of Kedusha, the sacrifices. Shagam, Elu Shalomdim, the people who learn the Rambam, they learn 1 chapter a day. They should add on and learn, if they can, 3 chapters a day. And those people already learn 3 chapters a day, but the learning is shitchiut. They just read the words, whatever, or they try to understand a little bit. They should look into the laws a little bit more deeply, etc. They should try to add learning 2 or 1 or 2 laws, at least in depth, each and every one according to his level. Kolel, including to Chodesh Belimud Rambam, you should also make new ideas, ask questions, find new things in the Rambam, but also to advertise and to print these ideas. There was one rabbi that wrote, he wanted to give the Rebbe a gift. His name was, what was his name? Anyway, Mayor, can't remember. It's a Yemenite name. Anyway, a Chabad, he was a big Chabad rabbi. Unfortunately, passed away a little more than a year ago. as he wanted to give the Rebbe a birthday present, so he wrote on an idea on the Rambam, asked a couple of questions, gave a few answers, and he gave it into the Rebbe. And the Rebbe enjoyed it so much that he said that it should be printed and distributed. Why can't I remember his name? Okay. Well, like it says, and like we said many times, that even though in the earlier generations that they didn't advertise, they didn't used to print words of their ideas in the Torah unless people were like specially apt. How do you say? And generally, when you printed something, it made it permanent for all generations. So only people that were really sure that they were saying was true and accurate, they would print it. They would be very humble and not a. So the Rebbe said, okay, that was in the previous generations, but now in our generations, no. It's a good thing. You should print the navulai, the new ideas that you make in the Torah. That in our generation, it is necessary to advertise your ideas in the Torah, because by means of this, you can add l'chayos in learning Torah. Other people will read your ideas, and they'll see if your ideas are right, if they're not, if they have what to add on, etc. A person should always work in the Torah, even though he's learning in the Torah is not for the sake of God, but eventually by that he'll come to do it, yes, by the sake of God. Similarly, so in other words, right, you have ideas in Torah, write the ideas down, even though they seem to be very foolish to you, very ridiculous, very this, write the ideas down, right? And then you'll see, ask somebody, what do you think about this? People say, that's the most stupid thing I ever read in my life. I never said, okay, why do you think it's stupid? Why? This is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, this is wrong. Thank you very much. Goes to somebody else and asks, says, no, that what he said, stupid, he was right, but it's not as stupid as he thinks. It's okay. It's not so bad. This idea you have to change like this. And by that you learn. Makes things interesting, right? Makes world interesting. Just don't take things personally. Don't be okay. Alter says similarly regarding learning the secrets of the Torah. A crown. Listen, also what you read, especially when it comes to the secrets of the Torah, don't think all of your ideas are true. You can say maybe it's like this, maybe it's like this, maybe it's like, don't say, oh, because like there's an eclipse and it passed over, the city of Detroit, so the world is going to be destroyed, and who knows what. Kolel, including especially this spreading out the wellsprings of godliness out, that we can add on this a novelty, the secrets of the Torah, like we just finished learning in the Kuti Torah. Write those ideas down also. And whether the chinush bechutza, whether you're going deep into it or whether you're spreading the ideas out to others, nevertheless, you should try to advertise the ideas of the inside of the Torah as much as possible. All of this is by means of effort. You have to make an effort in the Torah. You've got to, Matzah that says, if you make an effort, you will succeed. That by means of working hard at the Torah, right? You learn, you don't understand anything, so you try it again, you don't understand anything, you'll try it a third time, and maybe a little bit, I'm going to go to sleep. No, don't go to sleep. Try again, try a third time, try a fourth. Get a partner to learn with. Learn with a partner. You try to understand. You understood improperly. You didn't get it right, right? Maybe it is right. You start learning the different commentaries. You realize that they also disagree with one another, right? Makes things interesting. There's different ways of looking at the Torah. Then there's ways that are totally wrong. Ways of looking at the Torah that are totally wrong and messed up. If they would only have taken their wrong ideas and advertised them and listened to criticism, they would realize that they made a mistake. But you have to work at the Torah until you merit to really find something. Like it says, Matzati David Abdi. The true finding is going to be Moshiach. Sha'al Yado Yitgaleh, by means of the Moshiach will be revealed true novelties in the Torah. That the Torah, the Torah that we're learning now in this world is going to be like wind compared to the Torah of the Mashiach. Learning, it's like if you go to somebody and say, what's your name? And he goes, right? You don't understand anything, right? But no, it's something, at least it's something. Limud ba'ofen shel riyah. Mashiach we're going to see what we're talking about. We're going to see godliness until the way of Chidush also in the Torah of the Moshiach itself. It'll be renewed and renewed constantly. Torah Chadasha Me'iti Teitze, it's going to come from the essence of God Himself. So we'll see how precious every word and every letter of the Torah is. We can attach this also to the next week's Torah portion, which is Isha Ki Tazria, and that, one second, no, that's going to be next week. We'll talk about that next week. I have somewhere that I have to go to, if in fact, so we'll have to stop here today. And I will tell you a story. Now we're going to do the, let's see, one second. Let me just one minute. Yeah. Okay, next week's Torah portion is Isha Ki Tazria. It says when a woman gives seed and she gives birth, that's what our learning of Torah should be. It should be in a way that it gives birth. We'll continue, yes. A novelty, birth, giving birth, Ki Tazria, that we should not look at ourselves as being as what we see and what has been in the past. That's what's going to be in the future. No, we should give birth. And the whole idea of the future redemption is giving birth, that the Moshiach will reveal the true potential which is inside of each one of us. Because after all, what is giving birth? What does it mean to give birth? The child is already in the womb. Giving birth means it just comes out. The same thing by us, the Jewish people, we're the woman. That's Knesset Yisrael, we're the woman. And when he gives seed, this hints at serving, doing Torah and the commandments, like it says, that the offspring of tzaddikim are good deeds and the commandments. That's what means giving seed. In fact, the first commandment in the Torah is Pru Uravu, be fruitful and multiply, to give birth to more and more spiritually. And by means of this, that one Jew makes another Jew. That's what it means, Pru Uravu, be fruitful and multiply, means to have children, but it also means that one Jew should influence another Jew to be more Jewish. That means giving birth to him, and even more. And that Jew will do two, and then two will do four, and etc. And it says that then they'll give birth to a male. A male means powerful service of God, powerful. And the female is receiving, which is good to receive, but male means to give, to be active, proactive, and even more, that quickly all of this will bring the future redemption, and that will be a redemption that there won't be any exile after it. And so it should be to us also. Immediately, even before we start to read next week's Torah portion, which is Isha Ki Tazria, a woman, when she gives birth and she gives seed and she gives birth and she gives birth to a male, we're now found, says the Rebbe, Moshiach is supposed to come before we read the Mincha prayer. Now, says the Rebbe, we're under the influence of the reading of the Torah before on the 8th day, which that's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And in Nisan, it says that our fathers were redeemed, were taken out of Egypt. And in Nisan, there's going to be the future redemption. So we have a week, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or something, until the whole business is just going to turn over. It says that the time Moshiach can bring the temple down from heaven is a matter of moments. It's like 24 minutes, and the temple isn't here, and all of a sudden it'll be here, and that'll begin on Shabbos Mavurchim Nisan, Parshat HaChodesh. That's this Shabbos that in it we read in the Torah about Pesach, the old commandment of Passover, and so it will be, like it says in the prophet of Micha. The days of going out of Egypt will be repeated, and even more. God will show us miracles like the miracles we went out of Egypt. He'll show us miracles. And another opinion says, no, and like going out of Egypt, then there weren't really miracles. Now he's going to show us real miracles. Then we just called it miracles. But in the future, we saw that the Jewish people, after they left Egypt, so they didn't appreciate it. They worshiped the golden calf. In the future, it won't be that way. When was this going to begin? Immediately. We'll have a new song, Al Gulatenu, on our redemption, the redemption of our souls in our holy land, in Jerusalem, in the holy city, in the holy temple, the third holy temple, in Sion, Yomar, and in Israel. They will say, Ish Yulad Bo, that each and every person was born in it. born renewed who we really are, and this will be there permanently. Take up a miyad mamish. Immediately, this will occur. Pretty good. So it should be, and so we should see. Now let's do the Devar Malchut. 1 second. Let me go this whole here.
Nisan is in less than a week.
No, going out of Egypt. 1 second.
You mean Pesach night? Okay.
Right. 1 second. I mean, sure, it should be. Listen, the Rebbe said